not able to do that. So about functions, if these are two functions that we have, f of 3 will simply be when we plug in 3 into the input of my function. So that's what we get. F of c will be the same thing. Just plug c into the input. So you get 2c squared plus 4c plus 3. G of a plus b. What I'm trying to explain here is that you can put anything in the input and it'll just show up at the x value. Okay. So you see 2 times a plus b plus 1. Basically, I just put a plus b in place of x. This is called composition. Composition is when you put a function as the input to another function. It's the same idea. I'm taking g, and in place of the input, I'm putting the whole function f of x, meaning 2 times in place of x, I have all of this. See? So that's the composition. Remember that the composition can be written down like this in the exam, but it may also show up more commonly like this with a little circle. The circle means composite or composition, okay? Means the same idea. Put f inside of g. Okay. What about inverses? The way inverses work is, so how does a function work? A function takes in an input and gives you an output. So for example, this function will take 1 as the input, and when you put in 1 as the input, 6 will come out as the output, okay? An inverse, the job of the inverse is literally just to do the opposite of what the function did. It will take the output of the function as the input, and it'll give you back what the input of the function was. So it undoes what the function did. That's it. That's basically the idea of an inverse. Because of the fact that the output of the function corresponds to the input of the inverse, output of the function is the input of the inverse. That is why the range of the function is the same as the domain of the inverse, because output of function, input of inverse, they're same. And similarly, domain of function is the same as the range of the inverse. Now, how to find an inverse? If you're given a function and you want to find the inverse, first thing you got to do is replace the input and the output with the output and the input. What do I mean? In the function, you have f of x, which is the output. Replace it with x, basically. Replace it with the input. And x is the input. Replace it with the output. So f of x becomes x becomes y. Okay? Now, make y the subject. So add 2 to both sides, and then divide by 4. You get y equals x plus 2 over 4. This is your inverse. If you want to be a bit fancy, you can write it down like this. So y becomes the inverse. Okay? This is how you find the inverse of a function. Now, let's look at some questions. Okay. This is a very common paper 1 question that I'm about to show you guys. So here's a function that's been given to you. The first 2 questions are super easy. Find f of 0 and find f of 2. I think we can skip this, honestly. I'm just going to do the f of 2 one. For f of 2, just plug in 2 for x. So 3 times 2 plus 7, which is 13. So the output when x is 2 is 13. Okay. Write down f of a in terms of a. What do you guys think? What's the answer to this one? What is f of a going to be? So Jessica, for example, what is f of a going to be?
Is it just like, so 3 and then in brackets a plus 7?
Yep, exactly. It's a good habit to put brackets, but when it's a single number, I just don't, bother. But yeah, it's a very good habit to put brackets. Okay,
Okay.
next up. Now you see it says find a if I tell you that f of a is equal to 10. What do you think we should do now? So we know what f of a is. F of a is 3a plus 7. But they're saying f of a equals 10. Amy, what do you think I will do now?
Um, should you put 10 in place of a?
No. That would look like f of 10. They're not saying that. They're saying f of a is equal to 10. So this whole thing equals 10 basically is what they're saying.
Okay.
Okay? Because you see, this is f of a. If they wanted me to put something in place of a, they would replace the a with 10. But they didn't. They just said f of a, the thing we found earlier, is equal to 10. So we make the equation. Now we just have to solve for a. So a will be, I subtract 10 on both sides, and then I divide by 3. So if I subtract 7 on both sides, and then I divide by 3. A is 1. Okay? So I'm going to leave this part for you guys as homework. It's very easy, by the way. Okay, let's complete this table of values. It says that when x is 0, what do you guys think f of x is? Sophia, what do you think?
You just plug in 0 into.
So what is it going to be? Good
It's
job, yeah.
gonna be 7.
Good. Now, here's a tougher one. F of x is equal to 10. What do you think x is? So what do you think we need to do at this point? Not the answer, but what do you think we should do? Anybody?
Isn't it the same as we just calculated?
Yes. So when they're telling you that f of x is equal to 10, so we have to simply put f of x equals 10 and solve for x. So subtract 7 on both sides and divide by 3 on both sides. So x is 1. And as you can see, if I plug in 1 in place of x, I will indeed get 10. Okay. So, Jessica, what do you think this one is going to be? How do I do this? How do I find this guy?
Don't you do the exact same thing you just did?
Yeah, 3x plus 7 equals?
13.
Good. So how do I solve this? Or can you solve this and tell me what you get?
Is it x equals 3?
3? No, 2. Because when you subtract the 7, you get 6, I think. And x equals 2 then. Right? Because you got to divide by 3.
Oh, yeah.
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 2. So x is 2. Okay. I don't know why they give this. Okay. I guess just put a little tick here. Good job, examiner. And then finally, we have x equals 5. We want to find f of x. We just plug in 5 for x and get the answer. Amy, for example, what's this going to be? You got the easiest one.
So then it would be, so you plug in the 5 to where the x is.
Yep. So 3 times 5.
Yeah, 3 times 5 plus 7, which would be 15 plus 7, which is 22.
22, exactly. Good job. So that's basically the easiest kind of problem you can end up with.
Can I ask?
Yeah, what's up?
The one you said as homework for D, isn't that just the last thing, right?
Oh yeah, it is actually, isn't it? It is. Good job, yes. Because it says that f of b, some number, when we input it into into f of x, we get 22 as the output. So we already just found out, thanks to Amy, that when we put 5 into the input, we get 22 as the output. So we've actually solved this. B would have to be 5 for this to happen, right? So thank you, Sophia, for spoiling the homework.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. That was what we were planning. So now let's take a look at the next question I want to take a look at. So we have a function given to us, the graph of the function. This time we're not given the algebraic representation of the function. We don't know what it's like, is it 2x plus 5, whatever. We don't know that. We just know the graph of it. It says the first part is write down the domain of the function. Now, this is a 1-point question. It would be really sad to not be able to do this in an exam, even though it's very easy to like forget what it means. Domain simply means all x values that the function can take. Okay, so Sophia, give it a go. What do you think? What are all the x values that this function can take?
Is it 2 and 11?
Just 2 and 11?
Everything between 2.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll say x is anything from 2 to 11. Because you see, like everything between 2 and 11, the function has, right? And why am I saying more than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 11? Because these are full dots. If these were empty circles, I would say 2 is not part of my group. It's not part of the cool girl squad. So it's only going to be 2, x is more than 2 and not 2, more than or equal to 2. Okay? So is this clear, Jessica and Amy?
Yep.
Perfect. Now, for the range, this is all y values that the function can take. All y values function can take. So how do we do this part? Amy, tough one. Go for it. So think about what.
All the y values. So
Yep.
would that be from 3 to 6.
Good try. It looks like it, but it's easy to forget that this is also reached. So it also reaches 2, down to 2.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to look at the minimum possible y value, okay? So if the function does
Okay.
this, then you got to look at the very bottom, right? So good job. So we got 2 up to 6. Perfect. Write down the minimum. Okay, well, okay, that's easy. What's the minimum value of the function? Anybody? I should have a
Would it
soundboard
be
with
the
that.
2?
2, yes. And what's the maximum value?
11?
That's the x.
Oh, for y, 6.
Yeah. When someone says of the function, that always means output, y. Okay? Remember. So if someone ever says function value, they're always talking about y values, not x values, okay? This is, by the way, a thing that, it becomes instinctive after some time, but in the beginning it might not be as obvious. Function value or value of the function, all of these things mean y values. They're never talking about x values. Okay. Now, using the graph, can you guys help me fill this table? So for this one, Sophia?
Do we have an equation?
No, we don't need it. We have the
Oh.
we have the graph. When x is 2, what is y? That's the question.
It's 3.
Good job. Jessica, second one.
4.
Good. Amy?
Would it be 5?
Yep. Okay, Sophia, what is this one? So now they're saying when y is 2, what is x?
9.
9. Okay, I thought you were saying no in German. Okay. Jessica, when y is 6, what is x?
11.
Nice. Now, I have one more question to ask you guys. Because I'm built like that. When y is 4, what is x?
7.
7. Jessica, any answers from you?
Is it not like 4 and then all of the numbers until like 10?
Exactly. It's all 3 of these answers. Why? Because look, if I make a line at 4, God, I'm horrible at lines. Okay, you can see that the x value 4 has a y value of 4. The x value 7 has a y value of 4. The x value 10 has a y value of 4. All 3 of these x values have the same y value, 4. You see what I mean? The y value is 4 at all of these x values, 4, 7, and 10. Anybody disagree with this? Good. Yeah, so this is a very important idea. Sometimes your function will have multiple x values that give you the same y value, okay? Do not get confused with this. Okay, now let's look at part E. This is a very important one. Given that f of x equals 4, what does that even mean? It means that y is equal to 4 because f of x is the same as y, okay? Find the possible values of x. So y is 4, find x. That's all this question is saying. It looks very difficult, but this is all it's saying. By the way, we just did this accidentally, I just realized. So y is 4, find x. How do you do this? Just as I did earlier. Make a line, maybe in your head, or if you want, use a pencil, at y equals 4. See, this is y equals 4, right? Write down all the places where your line is hitting your graph at x equals 4, at x equals 7, and at x equals 10. That's how you do this question, okay? So your answers are x equals 4, 7, and 10. That's it. Is this all clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, so first part says sketch this graph, sketch this function, okay? Now, of course, you can do it on your calculator, but it's actually pretty easy to just, find out a bunch of values of x and kind of plot it. So when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y will be square root of 2, right? Because f of x is equal to square root of x. So square root of 2 is going to be, I don't even know, I think here somewhere. 3 is going to be like somewhere over here, I guess. 4 is going to be, 4 is going to be 2. 5 is going to be something. 9 is going to be 3. Because to find the y value for each corresponding x value, I'm just square rooting the x value to get the y value, because f of x equals square root of x. But again, you don't need to do this. Like, you can just, you know. So the ones that are obvious are 0, because the square root of 0 is 0. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 2, 3 is not like obvious, but square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. So I can put the obvious points and just kind of connect them with as nice of a line as I can. Okay, so that's the sketch of my graph. Again, this is wrong because it says from 0 to 9, so I have to end at 9. There. Okay, so that's going to be my sketch of the function. Is this clear? Okay, now the range of f. What do you guys think the range of f is? Anybody? Sophia, then. What's
Isn't
the
it
low?
just, isn't it just 0 to, or is it y?
0 to y.
I mean, are we talking y values?
Yeah, range of all. Range means y.
Okay, 3.
3, exactly. Point of okay, so this is fun. Point of intersection with the line y equals 1. How the hell are you supposed to do this? Look, as I said, I think I told you in this class earlier that if you ever are asked to find the intersection of two lines, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Come on. I wanna show it to you because it's so cool. Yeah, look, question 18. Where is it? Question 18 says, find the point of intersection between these two equations. What did I do? I put them equal to each other, right? This is a general idea. This is not ever going to change. So see, again, so many years later, we have a function. Remember, by the way, f of x just means y equals root of x. Okay, same thing. And we have another equation. All we got to do to find their intersection is put them equal to each other. So for this guy, I'm going to put the root of x equal to 1. Okay? And how I got to solve this? Jessica, what do you think? How do I solve this for x? So I want to remove this square root basically. How do I do that?
Don't you square root the both sides?
No, if I square root both sides, I'll be making my problem double. I should square both sides because the square cancels the square root, right?
Oh, yeah.
X is 1. So that is 1. However, I could have also done it. By the way, it says point of intersection. So I need to write down the full coordinates. Okay, I know that x is 1. What is y? Anybody know what y is?
Is it not 1?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, it's 1, right? So that's the point. Now, that's one way to do it. That's the algebraic way to do it. There's another way to do it because you already have a good sketch of the graph. Basically, make a line y equals 1. Does anybody know what kind of line I will have to make y equals 1? What kind of line will this be?
Is it not just like a straight line that goes?
Yeah, straight line. But what kind of straight line? All of these are straight lines.
Like, is it like perpendicular or something? Wait, no.
Vertical is the word you're looking for, right? Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's the line y equals 1. And as you can see, you can like clearly see where they intersect. 1, 1, right? So that's the graphical way to solve it. This is also extremely important. And again, let's do the second part using this method. Actually, we can't, right? Because if we make the line, we won't be able to tell what this point is. It's like rough, right? It's a sketch. So we have to do this part algebraically. There's no real way to do it with a sketch. We would need a good drawing to make this work. Anyways, so square both sides and you get x equals 4. Oh no, God, never mind. Sorry, made a mistake. I made a bunch of mistakes actually. 1 second. Let me fix this problem. God. Okay. First of all, point of intersection with y equals 1. Y equals 1 is a horizontal line. It's a line that touches only y at 1. This is y equals 1. And as you can see, thankfully the answer doesn't change. Oh God. What is this? Did I do that? Okay. So as you can see, what is happening? Wait, guys, 1 second. Okay, I see. Okay, there. So that is 1, 1. That's the point of intersection with y equals 1. So if I want to do y equals 2 now, I have to make a horizontal line at y equals 2. So right there. Okay? There. So this is the point that the intersection is at, right? So what's the coordinates of this point?
4 and 3. No, 2.
4 and 2, exactly. So remember, if someone asks you to find the point of intersection between two equations, either put them equal to each other, or if you have a graph, just draw both of them and find their intersection, okay? These are very, very important ideas. Okie dokie. So that's basically a bunch of the basic ideas. Wait, let's go to, okay. Now, okay, I'm gonna give you guys some homework from functions now, and that's enough for today. So remember, functions might be one of the most important topics before we move on to the complex ideas, okay? So be very careful.